Hello everyone, my name is Anthony Gelzer and today we'll be making strawberry shortcake. So in order to make this, you need strawberries, at least 1.5 sticks of butter, white sugar, flour, baking powder, heavy whipping cream, vanilla extract, and salt. So our first step is to make the strawberry preserve that is going to go on top of it. So we're going to take about 1/4 of our strawberries, throw them into a bowl, just crush them up to get the juices released. Nice and crushed up. Add in the rest of your strawberries. And you're going to add 3/4 of a cup of sugar. So take our sugar here. I'm actually gonna add 1/2 cup. So I take 1/2 cup. Keep it out of here. And we add it to our bowl of strawberries. And we're just going to mix it up all nice until the sugar is dissolved into the juices and the strawberry chunks. Our next step after making the strawberry preserve is going to be making our dough. So we're going to preheat the oven to 450 degrees in a large mixing bowl. We're going to take our flour and put in 4 cups. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of sugar. Then the recipe calls for a 1/4 cup, not a quarter cup, a 1/4 tablespoon of salt. Then add our baking powder, which is going to be 5 teaspoons. A teaspoon baking powder. And then we're going to add our unsalted butter. So you can do an entire stick and then a 1/2 stick to make 3/4. I put each stick in the microwave for about 10 seconds to soften it up a little bit. That way the chunks in the batter will be able to form easier. Just plop those in there. And then we're just going to rub it on in there and try and get the flour to combine with the butter, just to make like a little kind of like chunky crumbs of the flour and butter. Now that we have our dry ingredients done, we can add in our cream. So the recipe calls for 1.25 cups. We can begin mixing this into a nice dough. So we mix all our dry ingredients first so that there can be a nice even leavening process between the wet ingredients and the dry ingredients. So here the baking soda will begin reacting with the whipping cream to create that nice dough. The baking powder in the oven will react to the heat and give it that lift that we need to create the nice cake. Alright, now that we have a nice kneaded dough, we can take a little flour, spread it out on our counter. We're just going to knead the dough for about 1 minute for it to form all together and create that nice structure that we want before it goes into the oven. Just try and pick up all the little pieces that may fall out. Just going to form together nice and strong. Once you feel like you got a nice structure, you're gonna wanna take, well, really, you'd want a rolling pin, but I do not have one of those, so I'm just gonna use a nice plastic cup. I'm just gonna roll out my dough to until it's about an inch, or ½ inch thick. So I'm just gonna take a cup about 3 inches of diameter. I'm just gonna place it on there, press down, and wiggle, and you cut out a nice circle for your pastry. So we're gonna take 4, and then we're gonna butter the top of the 4 laid out, and we're gonna place a second layer on top and then butter the top of those. These are going to go into the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes, or until you see them becoming a nice golden brown. Now, while that is in the oven, we're gonna make our whipped cream. So we're just gonna take our heavy whipping cream and add the rest of it into a bowl, which is not very much. And then you would want to use a whisk, but I do not have one of those, so I'm just gonna use a fork, and it'll probably take forever. But gotta do what you gotta do. After whisking for what seemed like forever, you can begin to see the heavy whipping cream kind of has a thicker consistency, is able to stick together with itself. This is because the fat in the milk molecules expands and creates bubbles inside the milk. These bubbles thicken up and stick together and then form that thicker consistency. So once you get kind of a medium consistency, you're gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract and continue whisking until it's a little bit thicker and has a stronger bond with itself. Once the pastries are out of the oven, we can begin to flip. So we will take one of our biscuits or our pastries, and we can split the two. We're gonna take our spoonful of our whipping cream, lay it on there. Take a spoonful of our strawberry preserve. You can get the chunkies or the liquids in there. Then we can add our second pastry on top. Add that whipped cream. Some more strawberries. And voila, there is your strawberry shortcake.